Hello, it's Sortetzlov. Today, we're going to be learning some facts concerning animal production and consumption habits as humans. We're going to be talking about facts and statistics on some of the most common farm animals and general information on what they do to Earth as a whole. And I will try to answer some questions that anyone might have to the best of my ability. Farm animals affect the atmosphere by changing the temperature of Earth. This happens because every animal produces nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide is a greenhouse gas that is 296 times more destructive than CO2. Farm animals are responsible for 65% of all nitrous oxide emissions. Animal agriculture is 51% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Animals also contribute to deforestation because they need land to be farmed on. Livestock takes up 45% of all of Earth's land. Every second, 1 to 2 acres of forest is cleared for livestock or food for them. Up to 137 plant and insect species are lost every day due to this. 91% of all deforestation is a result of animal agriculture, and most land becomes desertified after it is cleared and used. 1.5 acres of land is able to produce 375 pounds of meat. Compared to this, plants on the exact same amount of land produce 37,000 pounds of food. Livestock uses 1/3 of all fresh water on Earth. In the U.S., 5% of fresh water is for domestic use only, and 55% is used for stuff to make animals and for the animals themselves. The amount of water drank by animals differs from the kind of animal. Here are some facts about the most common farm animals. I know what someone's probably thinking right now. Horses aren't eaten. I assume nobody actually said that, but in the US they'd be right. But in Canada and Mexico they'd be wrong, because Mexicans and Canadians actually eat horse with their mouths. They're crazy, right? Now Canada's actually trying to ban the eating of horses at the moment, but they're failing. Some ways that horses affect the Earth are they take up 1 to 2 acres of space per horse, and they produce 45.5 pounds of methane every year. A horse can drink up to 10 gallons of water in a day and up to 3,650 gallons of water in 1 year. They produce up to 9 tons of waste in a year and produce up to 50 pounds of waste in 1 day. 150,000 horses are transported to Mexico or Canada from the US to be slaughtered for meat every year. Cows have got to be the worst animal contributors to badly affecting Earth, because cows need 1 to 2 acres of land per cow, and cows produce 250 pounds of methane in a year. They can produce up to 82 pounds of waste in 1 day and 29,930 pounds of waste in 1 year. A cow can drink up to 30 gallons of water in 1 day and 10,950 gallons of water in a year. About 39 million cows are slaughtered for meat every year in the U.S. 250,000 bulls are killed in bullfights around the world every year, and about 9 billion cows are being used for milk at any given time. 450,000 calves are raised for veal. Veal is baby cow meat, and it's usually male calves. These goats are twins. One is a boy, one is a girl. The girl is named Willow, and the boy is named Winston. They are 5-month-old Nigerian dwarf goats. Goats need half an acre of land per goat, and goats can produce 11 pounds of methane in a year. Goats can produce 6 pounds of waste in a day and 2,200 pounds of waste in a year. Goats can drink 3 gallons of water in a day and 1,095 gallons in a year. 1.5 million goats are slaughtered every year in the U.S. This is my other goat. Her name is Daisy. She's a 2-year-old dairy goat that actually came from Wisconsin. This is the milk that Daisy has produced in only a few months, and we freeze it because none of us like the taste of it. Sheep need half an acre of land per sheep. Sheep can produce 38 pounds of methane a year. They can produce 8 pounds of waste in a day and 3,000 pounds of waste in a year. They can drink 4 gallons of water in a day and 1,460 gallons of water in a year. 2.2 million sheep are slaughtered every year, but the sheep are usually only 6 to 8 months old because people prefer lamb to sheep. Pigs need 372 square yards of land per pig, or 1 acre per 12 to 14 pigs. Pigs produce 3.3 pounds of methane a year. They produce 11 pounds of waste a day and 4,015 pounds of waste in 1 year. They can drink 1 gallon of water a day and 365 gallons a year. 10 million pigs are raised in the UK every year, 100 million in the US, 300 million in Europe excluding the UK, and in China it is 680 million. I actually have 34 chickens. 10 of them are a few weeks old, 4 are about 2 months old, and 20 are a year old. So far, 18 of them are female, 2 of them are male, and 14 have unknown genders. Chickens need very minimal space, about 10 square feet of space. They also need to be fenced in to keep other animals out and the farm animal in. Chickens produce 0.57 pounds of methane in a year. Chickens can produce a third of a pound of waste in a day and 132 pounds of waste in a year. Chickens can drink 0.13 gallons of water in a day, or half a liter, and 48.2 gallons of water in 1 year. In factories, about 260 male chickens are killed right after hatching because they don't lay eggs and won't be used for meat. Therefore, they're worthless. 9 billion chickens are killed each year in the US. 305 million hens are used for egg production. They both spend their entire lives in confinement. I actually have 5 ducks, 1 male and 4 females. The male is about 2 months old and the females are almost a year old. Ducks need 15 square feet of space. Ducks can produce 0.11 pounds of waste per pound of duck, so a 6-pound duck will produce 0.66 pounds of waste in a day and 40.15 pounds of waste in a year. Ducks can drink 0.28 gallons or 1 liter of water a day and 105 gallons of water a year. 31 million ducks are killed each year for their meat. $70 billion farm animals are raised each year for human food. Every 2 out of 3 farm animals is raised on a factory farm. Every day, 160 million animals are brought to a slaughterhouse throughout the world. The average person that is not a vegan or vegetarian will eat about 7,000 animals in their lifetime. 25 million farm animals are killed every day in the US. More than 850 million of the raised animals never actually make it to the slaughterhouse because they die early from stress-induced disease or injury. In short, the reason there are so many animals is because humans, or most humans, love to eat animals, drink their milk, and eat their eggs, so we have to make more meat. Nobody actually knows what would happen if the farm animal population had doubled, but it isn't crazy to think that our current resources for the animals we have right now would double as well. The water consumption, land and farm space, grain production, deforestation, and even slaughtering would all have to increase. With that amount of meat and animals, the climate would drastically change. At the moment, our current animals are changing the climate pretty quickly, so if there was double, it would be a huge change in temperature. With the temperature change, the ice caps would melt and increase the sea level. It would be absolute chaos. If there were no farm animals to eat, people would have to eat only plants. Since plants are less dense in nutrients, you would have to eat a lot more food. Some vitamins can't even be replaced by plants, such as vitamins A and B12, so supplements would need to be taken. These vitamins are important because they can reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease, improve cognitive function and vision in infants. A positive of no animals would be that food availability increases by 23% because plant farming is more efficient at using space than animals. Greenhouse gases would also decrease, but not as much as you think, because more food needs to be produced and synthetic fertilizers need to be made to replace manure. The greenhouse gas emissions would drop by 28% for agriculture, but for greenhouse gas emissions as a whole, 2 to 3% it would drop. No animals also means no animal suffering. How do we fix this? That's a reasonable question to ask. So basically, livestock contributes to about 6 billion tons of greenhouse gas emissions. That includes 20 billion animals. It supports 1.3 billion farmers and retail. You may be thinking, half of the economic product from agriculture. The consumption of animal products is estimated to grow 70% by 2050. 2.4 billion tons of greenhouse gas emissions could be reduced with improved feeding practices, manure management, genetics, and animal management. Storing carbon in the land is also needed. Not much is known about the cost of this, but it needs to be balanced. Policies will also need to change because farmers have no reason to do any of this. Eating less meat could also help because less animals would need to be produced. Basically, everyone needs to be a vegan, and the problem is solved. In conclusion, farm animals are crucial to the everyday lives of most people around the world, even vegans and vegetarians, but they also cause harm to our planet because of how much we breed them. If we don't find a good solution soon, bad things are going to happen. I hope everyone who watches this learns as much or more than me. Thanks for watching. Bye good.